hello. Oh, I can think of
My mind is
now,
clear.
so.
My aim is true. I am guided by the spirits. I am guided by the spirits.
That's how bad this. I really don't like it. He's a shit character for me. I don't know why.
I am guided by the spirits. Our strength. Fly like an eagle. Spirit soar. There is no end, only new beginnings.
Always forget just how bad Brawl is. Really, Brawl gets really bad.
Too pretty for pain? Check out my head. Too pretty for pain? Brawn and beauty. trouble.
Make it double.
Check out my gun! Not the face! Time for trouble.
Make it double.
Too pretty for pain. Let's go. Time for trouble.
Make it double. Okay. Everything like that.
Watch out, here I come. Time for trouble. Too easy.
Elijah, God. Suck.
Watch out, here I come.
balloon. I'm getting the trophy. I'm the balloon. I'm getting the trophy. I'm the balloon. I'm getting the trophies. Your trophies.
Watch out, here I come. Bullet storm!
All of that for rubber blood. Yes, apparently. Yep, got pinned. Got pinned trying to get the start. Getting stupid. Doesn't make a mistake. Oh my god.
Too pretty for pain?
That just felt like a fucking cheap one. What the fuck is the token bar?
Brawn and beauty.
No. Let's get it.
storm!
Excuse me, what the fuck? This is stupid. Well, we use 0 more power points that I can actually get from
That's gotta hurt.
Damn.
What to learn? Brawl and too pretty for pain. Too pretty for pain.
What?
Brawn and beauty.
I can't. How little brain cells do you have? How little brain cells do you have? Negative 2 brain cells. Motherfucker.
Bullet storm.
Well. Ah, yes, let's go into the vapor.
Ow!
There you go. Freaking
Not the face!
no. Motherfucker. That's a good win. That's actually a really good win.
Brawn and
I'm a boon. I'm gaining trophies. I'm a boon. I'm gaining trophies.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's do this!
Spin to win. Spin to win.
Let's do this!
We're in the right poses now.
Bling bling!
Bang bang. Bang. Bang bang bang. Bigger bang bang. Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Let's go!
Buenas noches. For pain and for glory. El primo.
Hello, hello, hello!
Hello, hello, hello. You're dead. Cool. Already knew the vending machine was broken and didn't try.
El primo is here.
Already knew the vending machine was broken and didn't try.
Los amigos.
Double back. Yeah. See the power you have there?
Primo punch.
Yeah. Yeah, done. You stupid. Yeah, stupid. Oh, yeah.
Los amigos.
Where will I put my credit? We can do this! We can do this!
The buggy, I must say. The useless teammate.
Let's go fix it! Say hello to my little friends! Build and brawl!
Good, okay. Alright. I have to stop playing Jesse. Back when I'm playing Jesse. Yeah.
Do this!
Piper. What are you doing?
Time to get constructive. We can do this.
Never mind, I forgot that.
Jess will fix it.
What the fuck is that random doing? I should. I should be playing El Primo. Shelly was being El Primo. What? By the way, I'm saving up all my boxes to get nothing because I'm opening 3 boxes. Sure, why not? Stupid. No way. Okay, that was a skip. At least that was skip. That was it. Well, I have to guess. That was skip. I didn't miss. Good job. Okay. We're doing better. That was skip. Let's go. Let's go. Down dude? Alright, you don't need to open the door. That's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun. Okay, got it. Let's go. Thank you. think I can. in the first place. Now, how long is
Ball!
Bloom! Hello, hello, hello!
Stop it. Get some hell. Stop it. Get hell. Take chances.
Hello, hello, hello!
Let's go.
Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Wait a minute! Time to take care of the weed for the win. Ready for composting. Oh, bother. Rosa is my name, botany's my game. Leave me alone. Time to take care of the weeds. I rose to the occasion. Time to take care of the weeds.
Let's go.
Oh, bother. Ready for composting. Time to take care of the weeds.
One moment.
Leave me alone. witness.
A bison witness. I love that
Hello.
Imbue. Oh, I am imbuing you with cat. Oh, yeah. I'm imbuing you with cat. It's the purest form of cat.
Hello.
Oh, you're so good.
You're ugly lot. You're ugly lot.
No. What are you doing me? I'm still really in trouble. I'm doing
Rosa is my name. Botany's my game.
What are you doing me? I'm right.
You're ugly lot.
Get it. No, you're lucky you're fast.
You're ugly lot.
Baby, no. You can't kill him. You can't. Impossible. Babies always survive.
Pedals to the metal.
Up. What the? Oh no, dude. I actually thought it was real. Oh my god, I actually thought Elm was real too. Dude, this is an actually good one. Oh my god, it's an actually good Leon. No, my one weakness. No.
Time to take care of the weeds.
That's the first time I saw a good Leon. I've never seen it before. No.
Pedals to the metal!
Okay.
Rosa is my name, botany's my game.
What do you want to play? No care about the favorites.
Rosa is my name, botany's my game.
Nope. I got your paw. I got your paw. Oh, I got your paw.
Hello, hello, hello!
Nope. No, you're not. You're not. No, you're not. I see. This was a bad idea. No, this is a very poor decision. Very poor decision. Very poor decision. Very, 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 very.
Hello, hello, hello!
I'm thinking.
You're having a
Oh
laugh!
my god! Oh no, back on the neck! Can you still back on the neck? That's just uploading the list. That's just uploading the list.
I'm losing!
Killed him. That was not lucky. How you doing? You're getting trophies. How you doing? You're getting trophies.
Oh, you're so good. Oh, you're so sweet.
Rosa is my name, botany's my game.
More disappearing. It's a horrible idea. More disappearing. Cute. Oh, you're cute. Oh, you're cute. I'm sorry, bud.
Time to take care of the weeds.
Meow. Meow. Did you know you're a very good cat? You know that you're potentially the best cat?
Fungus.
Fungus. Fungus. Fungus. Fungus. Put the crap in.
Pedals to the metal.
City.
The box goes boom! still, friends. Feel the power of music. Let's get this party started. Let's get this. Feel the power of music.
He has free to play in the game to do anything.
Not cool. Feel the power of music. Come on, we can do this.
Oh, right, yeah, because that did that as well. Right, wrong place. So I'll max that one to be able to do it forever. I like this one. He's so cute.
He's so cute. He's so cute. He's so cute.
He's cute. One second, Pat. 1 second. Here you go. I just need to put my mic in a better position. Oh, wow. Take one.
Game not over.
Chew on this! Somebody order a knuckle sandwich?
It's like so childish. I don't know.
Let's go explore!
I got plenty more where that came from.
This one is.
Give me some sugar.
I guess you
That
got
childish. No voice.
Hashtag I'm so gonna win everything.
Not over.
Robot. What the fuck?
Let's get scrappy.
Childish.
Birdie, birdie, birdie.
Childish.
Time to take care of the weeds.
Unleashing ultimate power.
Childish.
Sweet sound.
I don't even know.
Day and night cannot dwell together.
Annoying. Very childish.
Buenas noches.
This one's on the house.
Woo! Take the L.
Like this one just sounds like Kimberly Boy.
Time to take care of the weeds.
I got plenty more with that.
Somebody order a knuckle sandwich?
Why does this one sound so fucking childish?
Max energy!
Not good.
Planting.
Good.
Let's settle this beef.
Okay. This one's good.
Sand shroud.
Yeah. Good.
Batter up.
Why is this one so fucking childish? It doesn't seem like it should be childish.
Tough as nails, hard as a rock.
No. You aren't. Wrong. Motherfucker. Am I actually gonna hit that one? Oh my god, I hit him! Okay, that's literally all I can.
Show some respect. Chew on this. Chew on this. Chew on this. Konnichiwa. 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 Double trouble. Chew on this. Face bubble. Double trouble. I love you, Mr. Bat.
Quit.
Double trouble. Face bubble.
He's so childish. He's so fucking weird.
Konnichiwa. Home run. Mr.
So much
Bat
better.
says hi. For the colony.
Die! Why did you die? Why didn't you die?
What a fascinating biosphere.
Call me honey.
Bam! Bam! Stop. Yes! You can hit him. You get him. You get him. Not powerful. Not powerful.
Beautiful.
We've seen one time.
Sorry, didn't see you there. No time, gotta move. Free energy. Sorry, didn't see you there. 3, 2, 1, blast off! Let's go, come on, zip zip. Free energy. Try to keep up. Let's go, come on, zip zip.
Let's see why not. Let's see why not. Sure. Let's see why not. Oop. Doing really good. Missed the head. Missed the head.
Teachers of hell.
No. No. Soup. Soup.
Extreme Trends presents Baby Was Born with No Brain. 3 years later, doctor scans and discovers a miracle. Before we begin, do us a favor and click that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to be inspired by these heartwarming stories every day. Being blessed with a child is one of the best things that could happen to a couple. No other news can bring as much joy as the arrival of your own kin. Sure, it does bring a lot of responsibilities on that, but eventually everything falls into place. Unfortunately for some couples, this feeling of joy doesn't last for long. Many babies become host to certain diseases while still being in their mother's womb, or may receive injuries due to any of those caused to the mother. In such cases, the child faces many problems that cause hindrances in the survival just after birth, or sometimes even before. 5-year-old Noah went through a similar fate. Noah Wall was born with a very severe medical problem. According to the doctors, when the mother Shelley was only 3 months into her pregnancy, the child had already developed a life-threatening disease known as spina bifida. As soon as the doctors found out about the condition of Shelley's baby, they became highly concerned, especially for the baby's survival. As Shelley reached the latter half of her pregnancy, both the baby and the mother were given special attention and care. The baby's growth and progress were monitored closely. If you guys are wondering, spina bifida is a disease that affects the spinal cord. preventing it from developing properly when the child is in the mother's womb. Noah was suffering from it, and chances of survival were low. Later, another diagnosis left the doctors worried sick. The doctors realized that Noah was not just developing spina bifida. Still, he was also suffering from several other diseases, impacting Noah's progress to greater extents. He was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, a condition where cerebrospinal fluid occurs within the brain. As the fluid was building up, it was also damaging his mind and preventing new tissues from being developed. The news came in thrashing like thunder to the already broken parents. All they could do was pray for God's mercy on their little one. The medical team informed Shelley beforehand that because of the hydrocephalus, Noah's brain had endured 98% damage. They suggested that the couple stays prepared for the worst. The delivery took place. Noah was born with an abnormally large head, and he was living on roughly 2% of his brain. The poor child was also diagnosed with some specific chromosomal disabilities, along with the former two. His abnormally large head was a consequence of the fluid that had built up in his brain and caused damage to his brain tissues. Even then, the doctors did not want to lose hope. They performed a series of tests on Noah just after his birth to see if their worst fears were a reality or not. Unfortunately, they were. The couple was devastated. They were merely out of options and time. They were not just concerned about their baby's fate, but also worried whether or not they will be able to meet the medical bills that would pop up every month. However, they remained steadfast and believed that things will somehow turn into their favor. Odds were stacked up against them, but then finally, after so many hardships and constant prayers, a ray of hope glimmered. Noah slowly began to show signs of development. Doctors predicted that the baby won't be able to survive for even a year, but Noah was a warrior. He proved everyone wrong and continued to live. It seemed as if a miracle had happened, and Noah was blessed with a new life. Noah's medical reports showed that his brain had started to grow, despite the damage caused to it by his illness. Though the growth was slow, it was enough for the little toddler to survive. Noah began accomplishing typical biological milestones, such as laughing, speaking, and many more. Shelley and her husband were left speechless. They couldn't believe at the miracle that they were witnessing. After losing all hopes, they were stunned to see their boy defy all the odds. In an interview, they said, "When the consultant told us, she was in tears. She had never heard of it before. They don't know how or why, but Noah will be used as an example for junior doctors and for brain surgeons. We cannot believe it. It's a miracle. We are completely baffled." Diseases in children within the mother's womb are not very unusual. They can happen in many instances. Apart from any physical injury or due to any harmful organism, several other factors contribute to these problems. While Shelley wasn't indulged in smoking or drinking habits, it is said age factor or her dietary insufficiency may have caused the problem. Noah faced terrible infancy, but made it back to what we can call a healthy life. The kid is now 5 years old, just another milestone the medical team didn't expect him to achieve. Though Noah still faces some issues, he is still living his life to the fullest. With some surgeries and treatments, his legs and pelvis have been brought into shape to a higher degree. His parents are quite sure that one day he will walk on his own, and that too very soon. Noah might not be able to walk at the moment, but his brain works perfectly fine. He can count to 10, talk, and even write some words. He will soon start school and develop his skills further. We wish him all the success in life. What a warrior! Thank you for watching. Tap one of the 2 videos you see on...
Nobody cares.
Extreme Trends presents Little Boy Plays with Harmless Caterpillar, then looks down and sees his foot. Before we begin, do us a favor and click that like button. Also subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to be inspired by these heartwarming stories every day. Every parent is aware that letting their kids play outdoors is a crucial part of their childhood development. They start to have a better view of the outside world, even through playing. Plus, it's fun, and their children would get to meet other kids too. Yes, it's an integral part of their lives, but it's also essential to make sure that they know how to stay away from harm and be safe. It needs to be the right balance of both for kids to experience it fully. One mom in Florida recently discovered that one can only ever be so prepared, and when Ange Stagg's 5-year-old son, who had been playing outdoors, started screaming, she rushed him to the emergency room, unaware of what happened. This incident made her think that there are still a lot of things parents need to pay attention to when they take care of their kids. Ange had a 5-year-old son, and like what other kids of his age are commonly doing, he is left to play outside and enjoy the freedom of exploring his surroundings. The idyllic view of her son smiling and playing suddenly turned gray when she heard her son screaming. She ran to him immediately and had rushed him inside their bathroom to have a closer look as to what had caused her son to scream his lungs out. At first, she thought that maybe her son had stepped on a pile of ants, being completely unaware of his surroundings. However, the boy didn't have any blemishes or scratches that looked like ant bites. It didn't seem like ants were the cause of her son's distress. Her son continued screaming and thrashing from the excruciating pain. Ange was starting to panic because she doesn't know what's causing the problem. Her son was starting to hyperventilate from screaming. Her thoughts were scrambling and a lot of things came to her mind all at the same time. Did he get himself into stinging nettles? If it's not ants or stinging nettles, what could it possibly be? Ange was trying to keep herself calm, but it was proving to be difficult for her to do because this was the first time it had ever happened to her son. Ange was running out of ideas when a light bulb suddenly flicked on in her head. She quickly asked her father to go outside to try to look for something that he could find to be bizarre or unusual around the location where her barefoot son was playing lately. It didn't take that long for her father to find something that could be the reason for her son's painful dilemma. She went to the place where her father had checked and saw the caterpillar crawling on the steps of their front porch. She was thinking that a typical caterpillar couldn't deal that much damage, could it? Considering the size of the creature, she had her doubts. It was a quarter-sized caterpillar, and it was easy for her to scoop it up, so she used a Ziploc bag to pick up the little critter. She didn't have time to think or research about it, so what she did next was rush her son to the hospital. By that time, her son's foot was already turning red, mostly on the bottom of his toes. The pain was spreading across the top of his foot. Her son could not handle the pain and suddenly asked her one heartbreaking question. Her son asked her if he was going to die while tears were continuously streaming down his face. She felt sad for her son who was enjoying outside. Then, in the blink of an eye, they were on their way to the hospital. Upon arriving at the hospital, her son was immediately attended to by medical professionals. Her son was then given painkillers and he was kept under observation for 3 hours. The doctors asked Ange about what had happened, and she explained everything to them. She added she suspected that her son may have been bitten by ants or got stung by nettles, or it could possibly have been this strange caterpillar. She was unsure because looking at her son's condition, she was under the impression it was something else, something more sinister than those common insects. A few moments later, the lab results were out, and it had confirmed what her son had experienced. When Ange heard what the doctors had to say about the report, her heart dropped and everything went crashing down on her. The doctors have confirmed that her son was in fact a victim of a caterpillar. However, this was not any regular caterpillar. It was the poisonous puss caterpillar. The doctors further explained that being in contact with this type of caterpillar can result in a burning sensation, which explains her son's wild screaming. Puss caterpillars, or poisonous caterpillars, are common in Florida, and officials are already warning people to avoid the said creature, no matter how harmless these creatures may look due to its soft and furry appearance. National Geographic considered this creature as the most venomous caterpillar in the US, and even just a tiny brush of your skin from the insect can give you excruciating pain. Don Hall from the University of Florida said that the sting can be compared to that of a bee sting, but in a worse kind of pain. After being stung, the pain rapidly gets worse, even going as far as making the person's bones hurt. The sting hurts depending on where a person got stung and how many spines were inflicted in their skin. It was a good thing Ange was able to bring her son to the hospital as soon as possible. Her son was just 5 years old, and it could have gotten a lot worse if urgent medical attention was not provided. Adults who have been victims of the puss caterpillar can't really handle the pain it causes. Imagine how a young kid would react. Fortunately, he is now okay, and was able to return to his healthy life as a kid. Ange got the most terrible experience of seeing her child in so much pain, and it made her feel helpless. She just left a critical note that parents should take notice, and that is to look around and be aware of their surroundings, to ensure the safety of their children, while enjoying their life outside. Thank you for watching until the end. Subscribe. Extreme Trends presents, a boy feels intense pain after eating a harmless burger. Then the nurse reveals the alarming news. Before we begin, do us a favor and click that like button. Also subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to be inspired by these heartwarming stories every day. Every summer, most people think of moving some activities outside, and what better way to do that than firing up the grill and having dinner time outdoors. Having homemade meals can undoubtedly make it more special, on top of having the whole family together. Hamburgers are a top pick for these exciting events. They never go out of trend, especially burgers with grilled patties and hot buns. People of all ages love to eat hamburgers. Just the smell of it makes them drool. It's definitely not a bad idea to prepare some of these on an outdoor feast. The Fiore family had the same exact idea for the weekend, and so they cleaned off the grill and got ready to cook some burgers for everyone. They invited some of their relatives to join them. The whole family was enjoying a beautiful summer night, but before they knew it, things took a severe turn for the worst. There's not a lot that could beat burgers cooked on a grill. And 6-year-old Anthony Fiore felt the same. Anthony Fiore was spending time with his family, enjoying the outdoors. He was patiently waiting for his cravings to be satisfied. Anthony knew little about his day. All he cared about was that it was an excellent time to play, have fun, and eat delicious food. Like any other 6-year-old kid, he didn't have much time to worry about. His parents got everything ready and started to cook a feast for dinner. But what happened after Anthony had eaten shocked the whole family. The youngster took one bite and immediately fell ill. He instantly felt something odd on his tongue. What could possibly be the reason why Anthony had a bizarre reaction? It was just one bite from a burger his family prepared. It must have been something serious for him to be in that position in a matter of seconds. His mother, Nadia Fiore, knew something was wrong with the younger kid, and he was in extreme pain, mainly because Anthony was crying. It's a good thing they were quick on their feet, as they were able to rush Anthony to the hospital, where doctors discovered something they did not expect. The boy said it felt like his throat was stabbed, as reported by the news media outlet. When the family from the Toronto area in Canada arrived at the hospital, an initial x-ray of Anthony showed an unusual reading of Anthony's digestive tract. However, the doctors said that they have seen this phenomenon before. Surgeons from the first hospital have dealt with an influx of patients who needed emergency surgeries for causes similar to Anthony. Still, the thing is, they didn't exactly have a surefire way of removing it yet at the time. Fortunately, Anthony was transferred to Sick Kids Hospital, and the surgeons there were able to perform the procedure to help Anthony successfully. From the time they had dinner to the time Anthony had surgery, the entire ordeal took about 12 hours. It was because their journey started at the local hospital, and then they were transported to Sick Kids. Anthony was in that situation for almost half a day. He was able to handle the extreme pain barely, and it was a pitiful sight for Anthony's parents, seeing him like that. Performing the procedure was straightforward. Although the whole process took some time, Anthony wasn't out of the woods yet. After the operation, they warned that the incident would likely cause some infection of his throat, so they had to keep monitoring him. Reports also stated they encountered a number of these cases that can prove fatal if it's not treated quickly, as it can also cause damage in a person's intestine. The doctors told Anthony's parents about what they have discovered. They were shocked and devastated. What was supposed to be a happy family get-together ended up as a terrible incident. Nothing could have ever prepared them for the culprit, and it would soon turn out to be a lesson they will remember for the rest of their lives. Doctors told Anthony's parents that the offending object had come from a wire brush used to clean the grill that they used to cook those hamburgers. It was too simple, but it added more frustration to Anthony's parents because it was something they could have easily prevented. Now Anthony's mom is warning others to ditch their wire brushes. The 6-year-old parents came forward about their ordeal to a public media station so that other families could be aware of this issue and avoid it. They don't want the same tragedy their family had gone through to happen again with another family. Grill experts said this has been happening for as long as people have been using those wire brushes. The necessary treatment was given to the young boy to make sure his throat didn't get infected, and thankfully his throat was fully recovered. After a few days, Anthony and his family were able to go home from the horrible experience, rather than wooden or plastic brushes with bristles that might not be as secure when cleaning food grills. An even safer method is to avoid using these brushes altogether. An alternative that people could do is light the barbecue grill for a few minutes with the lid closed. That can help loosen up any food stuck to the grill, which can then be removed with a piece of scrunched foil. Nadia Fiora and her family haven't barbecued anything since the bristle incident in June. Nadia says her son is traumatized, and poor Anthony is scared to eat anything off of the grill right now. Maybe they'll settle for something different when the summer season comes again. People always need to be mindful of the food they eat. It just doesn't stop at wire bristles. It can be anything that's not supposed to be swallowed. Thank you for watching until the end. Subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable stories, and check out one of the 2 videos on your screen for another nerve-wracking story, right here on Extreme Trends.
Are you trying to kill me? Are you trying to kill me? Who's a good boy?
Social distancing doesn't have to make us distant, right? After all, cars were invented to bring us closer together. So CarMax is doing everything we can to keep you going. And that's the way it should be.
Brawl ball. Right? Brawl ball. Yep. Fucking blah blah. Wait, am I still recording? Oh. Oops.